Letter 21. Insult is a kind of motivator. Never let your own personal prejudices hinder your success. You believing and being in harmony with yourself will make yourself the most faithful companion. February 27, 1901. Dear John, your performance when negotiating with Mr. Morgan surprised me and your mother. We did not expect you to have the courage to confront the Wall Street's domineer. Moreover, you dealt with him with calamity, eloquence, well-mannered, and still have complete control over your opponent. Thank God for allowing us to have such an outstanding child like you. You told me in a letter that Mr. Morgan treated you rudely and intentionally wanted to insult you. I think you are tight. In fact, you wanted to retaliate on the behalf of me and be humiliated instead. You know, Morgan proposed to form an alliance with me this time because he was worried that I would pose a threat to him. I believe he is reluctant to cooperate with me because he knows that we are carriages running on a two-way street, and neither of them likes each other. I feel sick whenever I see his arrogance. I think there are also areas where he will feel uncomfortable when he sees me too. But Morgan is a business wizard. He knows that I pay no attention to Wall Street, and he is not afraid of his threat to me. Therefore, if he wants to realize his ambition to rule the U.S. steel industry, he must cooperate with me. Otherwise, waiting for him would be a competition involving life and death. People who are good at thinking and good at action know that arrogance and prejudice must be eliminated, and they all know that they can never let their own personal prejudices hinder their success. Mr. Morgan is such a person, so even though Mr. Morgan did not want to deal with me, he still asked me if he could meet him in the office of the president of Standard Oil Company. Those who can hold on to the last minute in the negotiation will definitely reap the benefits. So I told Morgan, I have retired. If you want, I will be happy to wait for you in my home. He really came, and it was him in person. This is obviously a bit condescending to him, but he never dreamed that when he asked specific questions, I would say, I am very sorry, Mr. Morgan. I am retired. I think my son John will be happy to talk to you about that deal. Only a fool cannot tell I was scorning Morgan, but he was very respectful and told me that he hoped you could talk to him in his Wall Street office. I agreed. Revenge on others is an attack on yourself. Mr. Morgan did not seem to understand this truth, but in order to relieve his anger, he instead let you control it instead. But in any case, even though Mr. Morgan blatantly insulted me, he always kept his eyes on the goal to be achieved, which I do admire. My son, we grew up in a society that pursued dignity, and I know what it means to be insulted to a person who loves dignity. But in many cases, no matter who you are, even the President of the United States of America is unable to prevent insults coming from others. So, what should we do? Do we fight back in rage and defend your dignity? Or is it to be tolerant and generous? Or do you respond in other ways? As you may remember, I have always cherished a group photo of my middle school classmates. I am not in the photo, only children from wealthy families. Decades have passed, but I still treasure it, and especially the scene in the photo. It was one afternoon, and the weather was good. The teacher told us that a photographer came to take pictures of the students in class. I have taken pictures, but very few. For a child from a poor family, taking pictures is a luxury. As soon as the photographer appeared, I imagined how I wanted to be photographed, to smile more, be more natural, act handsomely, and even started to imagine as if I was going home to report a piece of good news to my mother. Mom, I took a picture. Yes, the photographer took my photo. Great. I stared at the photographer, who was bent with excitement in my eyes, hoping that he would pull me into the view of the camera soon. But I was disappointed. The photographer seemed to be an aesthetic. He straightened up, pointed at me, and said to my teacher, "Can you ask that student to leave his seat? His clothes are really too shabby." I was a weak student and had to obey the teacher's orders. I can't fight. I can only stand up silently and let the well-dressed students create a beautiful scenery. At that point, I felt my face hot, but I was not angry, and neither did I pity myself, nor did I lament at my parents for not dressing me more properly. In fact, They did their best for me to get a good education. Looking at the adjusting the camera scene, I clenched my fist in my heart and swore to myself, one day you will become the richest person in the world. What is the point of having a photographer take a picture of you when the world's most famous painter paints you a portrait would then be considered a pride of its own? My son, my vow at that time has become a reality. In my eyes, the meaning of the word insult has changed. It is no longer a sharp blade that strips me off dignity, but a powerful driving force, like overwhelming mountain, urging me to move ahead and pursue all good things. If the photographer inspired a poor boy to become the richest man in the world, it does not seem like he went overboard. Everyone enjoys applause and praises. It is either affirming our achievements or affirming our quality, ethics, and morality. When we are attacked, insulted, or suffered from another's malice, I think the reason we are being insulted is because of our poor ability. This ability may be related to our character or the way we are doing things. In short, it does not constitute respect for others. So I want to say that humiliation is not a bad thing. If you are a person who knows how to reflect calmly, you might think that humiliation is a measure of ability. That is what I did. I know that any slight insult can hurt dignity. However, dignity is not given by God, nor is it given by others. It is your own creation. Dignity is a spiritual product that you enjoy yourself. Everyone's dignity belongs to him. If you think you have dignity, you have dignity. So, if someone hurts your feelings and your dignity, you have to stay calm. If you do not cling to your dignity, no one can hurt you. My son, your relationship with yourself is the beginning of all relationships. When you believe in yourself and are in harmony with yourself, you're your most faithful partner. Only in this way, you will stay indifferent. Love, your father.